Hello parents and welcome to part 4, the final part. The Learning Enrichment Team, or the LET for short. We've got Mrs. Clark and Mrs. Mann, Mrs. O'Neill and Mrs. Hauser. Now their learning support, Mrs. Clark and Mrs. Mann being the former, and extension, okay, Mrs. O'Neill and Mrs. Hauser. And that is an allocation of 9 periods per fortnight. And they are there to help us refine our lessons, extend our lessons intellectually, and if needed be, teach on a more remedial level on occasion. And they offer that particular support and help in that regard. And it's superb to have them there for that purpose.
Certainly is. Okay, something that's happening later on in the semester. I'm sure you're already very much familiar with it. I know the students are. Is the NAPLAN tests, our national assessments that happen in May. And look, this year we're very much trying to make sure that we don't teach to these tests, although we do want to prepare the students for them. We don't want to teach just with NAPLAN in mind. We want to teach rich outcomes and deep learning, and we don't want to just teach the skills of how to do a test. Exactly, Mr. Burns. So look, the things that we're doing in class will build those skills, and we will be exposing the students before the tests to the style of testing that they'll be doing, and we really also don't want to make a big deal of it because we don't want the students to get stressed about it. We don't make a big deal about it, and we'll be praying a lot about it, and we would just ask you as well, as parents, please to not make too much of a big deal about it as well.
It's just a day, isn't it?
It is. It's just another day, and it's an opportunity for each student to learn a bit as well about how they go in these sorts of testing situations. You can see the dates there for each of the tests, so that'll be happening in week 3 of term 2. If you do have any concerns at all about the NAPLAN, then please contact me or Mr. Burns, and we'll be happy to talk to you.
Okay, great. Thanks, Mr. Bachatsky. The Inaburra Learner Profile, very important for Inaburra, and we took some time to put this together. I'm not going to read it all out. Unless you're listening, you might be listening from the kitchen, so I might read it out. Okay. Knowledgeable and resourceful thinkers, creative and critical inquirers, effective and confident communicators, relational and collaborative contributors, resilient and responsible risk takers, engaged and aware global citizens, confident and discerning leaders. Quite a mouthful. What we believe the 21st century will require of a student. And we take this very seriously here. And please have a look at it. It is what all of our teaching, along with the student outcomes laid down by the Board of Studies, it is what all of our teaching is geared towards. This is what we want your children to be. Maybe not in kindergarten, maybe not in year 5, but by year 12. That's where we're getting them. And so this is how we're trying to treat them. To that end, we have introduced a system of teaching in some small ways called project-based learning, which is a type of inquiry-based learning which really generates and demands of students these types of skills. And we've talked about that already in the sense that they're going to be already inquiring into the gold rush and what was the key significant event to come out of that for Australia. And we're not going to tell them. They're going to work that out themselves, and they're going to do that for a real purpose, and they're going to do that in groups. And we plan to emulate that sort of setup, culminating in a presentation to an authentic audience, to real people, not just their teachers, throughout the entire year, be it in science or HSIE. Last year we got in Federal MP Craig Kelly, and we presented our ideas on environmental sustainability and what we could do at Inaburra or in our local environment to improve environmental sustainability. And the students just really engaged on a level we haven't often seen, because it was real, because it was for a real purpose, and someone was coming in to hear their ideas. And now that's the Inaburra Learner Profile. We take it very seriously here.
And just finally, everyone, a few things for you to think about as we begin this journey together this year. First of all, we obviously take the welfare of all our students very seriously, and we want the best for them in terms of their happiness and their social well-being at school. We have some school counsellors who are available for you to make use of, and please, if you are considering that, please get in contact with your class teacher and let us know, and we can help you arrange that if needs be. For any welfare needs, really, no matter how big or small, we would prefer you to come to us first as the first point of call to discuss your concerns, and we'll be a listening ear and try and help you and your students out as much as we can. We in Year 5, our focus really is on developing maturity and resilience as one of those things that we just looked at in the learner profile. We want your students, we want your children to become mature and responsible. Year 5 and Year 6, obviously, the end of the primary school, we really want them to be responsible for their own things. We've talked about looking after their technology. We want them to be responsible in terms of remembering what they need, their notes, etc. And so that's a big focus for us. Something that's coming up very soon, I'm very excited about, is our camp at Rathane, and the dates are there. Once again, if you have any queries or concerns, I think the note's already gone home, but please, we'll be going home shortly. And if there are any issues or any concerns, please contact us about that. But we're really looking forward to that, and it's a great time to get to know each other better. And helping your child at home with their homework is fantastic. We encourage you, if you have the time, to spend time talking about school and about learning at home, and giving help where you feel it's appropriate. If you have any concerns or you have any questions about how you can best help your children, again, please contact one of us and let us know. And finally, for those of you with faith in God, we really would appreciate prayer throughout the year for all of the students and for the teachers of Year 5 as well. And we'll certainly be praying for the students and for the whole school as we go on. And look, I think that's about it. Mr. Burns, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Look, if we just mention helping your child, of course, a little bit of assistance with homework, but one of the best things that a couple of studies are showing is, of course, your child seeing that you value literacy and text in one way or another. So reading with your child, even if they're brilliant, picking apart the text with your child, even if they're brilliant. We do that here, don't we? That's our job. But we only have them for 4.5 hours a day face-to-face, and you have them for a lot of time. And I know you're busy, but one of the best things you can do at home is reading with them. And an interesting thing about that is don't ask them, don't praise them for reading the story, do that, but ask them what they thought about it. And that can be about a news item, that can be about a text, about a paper, that can be about a website. Getting them to think about things that they're reading and seeing, we really would value your contribution with that. That's about it for me, Mr. Bachatsky.
Okay, very good. Well, thank you very much for your attention through this video series, and we hope that you've appreciated the ability to sit at home and listen. And if you would like any further information, if you'd like to come along and say hello, you're welcome, of course, to come along to the information evening coming up this Monday night. And I'm sure we'll see many of you there.
But of course, if you feel like your needs are fulfilled, don't. Stay home.
It's
Do
totally
other things.
up to you.
That's why we did this video.
Okay, well, thanks very much again, and we look forward to working along with you for the rest of the year.
God bless.